Calm breath holds reduce anxiety and help with stress management. Short answer is yes. The long answer is no. Why is that? Well, in short, just going like it's not going to do much. Yeah, it will have a little bit of improvement, but it's like putting petrol in a faulty car that's had damage or wear or depending on its age, etc. There's a lot of variables when it comes to us human beings. Now, take myself for example. If you have a look at my nose, this nostril is bigger than this nostril. Watch when I breathe. See how it closes? Now, I'm the breathwork guy. I've got faulty breathing. I don't have faulty breathing. It's just what's happened. It happened over years of neglect, of dysfunctional breathing. And what happened was, because I wasn't because I was mouth breathing, habitually mouth breathing, as I've done in other videos, the zombie apocalypse, sitting at a desk, hunched over, or sitting in a car, stress everywhere, or external stress impacting me as well internally. And this is a classic case of don't use it, you lose it. So what I've had to do over the years is actually turn back time, in the words of Cher, if I could turn back time. And I've had to stimulate this area to actually be able to breathe through my nose, nasal breathing, shut your mouth and all that. So by doing that, it's been allowing my nasal cavities to actually open more. The professionals, what they offered was surgery and medication, and I politely declined both and went for a more natural modality. And it's one of the reasons why years ago that I got into what it is that I do now. So by focusing on that, I'm able to breathe a lot better. Breathe better, be better. And what has happened to me since then, I've been able to reduce the anxiety levels that I have, improving performance and stress manage, but not just because I was nasal breathing and not just because I was breath holding. I've had to look at like an MOT, put the car in for a service test and look at the whole package because we don't get injured alone. We don't heal alone. And when I say we, I mean us, that our bodies, every bit fits. The knee bone's connected to the thigh bone. You might remember that as a kid. And it's the same with our nervous system, it's the same with our breath, it's the same with our heart rate, it's the same with the signals that go to our brain. So each one has to be looked at. We are a full package. We are body, mind, and spirit. So breath holding, the topic of this video. I've been doing a lot of it over the years. Improving my breath hold time. And when I do things like this, people ask why. Why? Why are you doing it? Well, one, I enjoy it. Two, I like a challenge. Three, I like to set goals for myself. I posted a very short video about it on my channel. If you haven't seen it, please go and have a little look. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff that we say. It's good for the algorithm and it helps my videos get out there and support people. So, in that, why do a breath hold? There's something called CO2. You may have heard of it. But within the body, what happens are CO2 levels in the body. It's really what's the trigger for anxiety. If you've got low tolerance to CO2, then more than likely you're going to experience some symptoms of anxiety. It could be here, it could be here. It's how we can tolerate that. It's one of the reasons. So people that have anxiety, that might have been diagnosed with clinical anxiety, a lot of that is actually physiological. It is not psychological. It's partly psychological, but there's a physiological response that happens to begin with. So somewhere in the past, whether it's a distant, recent past, a situation happens, we feel it in our body, there's maybe a tension, a stress, we breath hold, but not by choice, not control, it's a stress response. And then what happens is we move away, we could be out of breath, panicky, worried. The mind then picks it apart. What happened? What's wrong with me? I need to go and get help, or I'm too scared to ask for help. Or eventually have to ask for help. I might end up medicated or diagnosed with some mental health condition. When really what's happened is the body's actual natural response to a difficult, challenging, stressful, or anxiety-producing situation. Now, in the modern world, there's a lot of situations that have become incredibly stressful. Like, for example, a text message, a notification, end up breath holding on a minimal scale. An email from the CEO. These things cause stress and anxiety. Our phone use, sleep, how much the sleep pattern we're getting, the food we put in, the company we keep. There's so many external things, people, places, or things that contribute towards this modern world that what a stress response used to be, say for example, run from the saber-toothed tiger or some kind of threat. That was the threat. But they would sit around the fire and then down-regulate, eat the meat in a nice way. The parasympathetic nervous system is switched on and they're digesting food properly in that rest digest. But what we're doing, or I have done in the past, is a stressful job, and then I'm in a car, hunched over, diaphragm's crushed, and then go to the next job, and then take a quick lunch break. I'm eating in my stressful way, in the fight, flight, freeze. And no wonder I end up with bloating, skin conditions, lower back pain, an inability to manage stress and anxiety, not wanting to go to work, or just, the mood run down, poor concentration, can't focus at the job at hand, pushing myself to do it. And it was as simple as I had an inability to manage stress and anxiety. I had dysfunctional breathing. Now, if I went to a health professional, GP, for example, they would have given me a heap of pills to, and you can't throw a chemical solution at what is a physiological problem. Not in this case, anyway. So there's a great saying, it's not a saying, but it's a factual observation, which is most physiology. I had that right first time. Most psychology is misunderstood physiology. We overthink, we underfeel, we focus too much on what's going on up here, this layer, rather than what's going on in our own bodies. Something happens, this then spirals it out of control, repeats it, warns us, it's danger, danger. And that is what causes anxiety and stress, a physiological response, a build-up of CO2 in the body. That's why breath holds are very, very effective at increasing our tolerance to that. But it's not the only way. We can't just do breath holds and expect our stress levels to suddenly drop, or how we handle anxiety-producing situations. Our vehicle, like a car, mentioned earlier, with petrol getting poured in. The petrol is the breath. If the car's clapped out, or it's not been serviced, or it's not been looked after properly, it's a bit rusty, then it's just like the body. The body, is not being looked after. So there's areas that we have to look at: the diaphragm, we look at our resting heart rate or our respiratory rate, we look at the nervous system. There's a lot of different things that contribute towards anxiety and stress. It's what I deal with in the programs that I've got. I teach people, empower people, how to change their lives, about professional experience, lived experience, and I share that with people. If that's something that interests you, yeah, comment below or click on the link in my bio. It will take you to a discovery call you can book in if you want to. If you want to go a bit further, ask some questions, please feel free. Now, it's changed my life dramatically, and it continues to do so. It's not just something that a fad that I've picked up along the way. This is something I've been doing for well, 12, 13 years plus. I coined the phrase breathwork, meditation, nervous system regulation. It's part of my life. It's part of my daily routine. It's what I do. More recently, I've been working with a world record holder and champion world record holder and world free diving champion. I can't remember all his accolades, and was being taught how to breath hold for longer. Now, I've done hyperventilation. Some of you may be familiar with that. It's commonly known as the Wim Hof method, where what's happening is yes, we're taking in oxygen, but we're dispelling CO2. So by the time you've done 30, 40 of those, then it's a lot easier to hold our breath for a long period of time. I've done quite extensive time scales with that. But what I've been taught recently and working with this gentleman is to do it in a much more relaxed state. No hyperventilation. Literally just going into it, but the tools that help relax the mind and relax the body. And my time was phenomenal. It nearly tripled, the time that I had with hyperventilation. That's a lie. Not the tripled with the hyperventilation. Let's not exaggerate, Paul. It tripled my own time that I'd done without the hyperventilation. It's nearly doubled the hyperventilation time. Now, I'm super excited about that for me as a human being because it shows me what is possible within my own body and mind. Because as I'm lying there, I'm still both. I'm mind, body, and spirit. And what's happening, all these different physiological changes happening in my body. The mind, the sphere center, the amygdala, that keeps us safe. It's a good thing to have. It's our survival instinct and mechanism. And it wants to talk me out of it. You can't do this. It feels like you're choking. Now, to relax into that was an awesome achievement for me, an awesome achievement that these things are happening within my body that are telling me that you're going to die. You can't breathe. You're choking. You can't do this. And then I did it and just surpassed anything that I was ever able to do in the past because I employed the help of a professional to support me in that. And the beautiful, wonderful thing is it's another chink in my armor. It's another tool that I've got to support me and to support you if that's something that you're interested in. Now, it has blown my mind that the achievement and the ability to hold my breath for that prolonged period of time. But how does that translate into the real world, Paul? You don't just hold your breath at every situation. No, but it shows me the resilience that I have within me, within my own body, the mind, this lyre, this fear center, that I don't need to pay attention to it, that I can surpass that and I can apply that to any area of my life, which is absolutely incredible. And that's what I plan to do. I plan to keep personally developing for myself, and I plan to keep developing the business that I have so I can support others. So this is a call to action. If that's something that interests you, give me a shout. Don't try not to be fearful or talk yourself out of it for whatever reasons. Make the call and make the change so that you can optimally breathe, perform, manage stress, reduce anxiety, improve performance, and ultimately breathe better, be better.